So, very good evening to our audience today. And today we have Shabeena Zaidi with us, and who's the author of the book Revelations of a Millennial Mom. She is a mother of two beautiful daughters, and she lives here in Sharjah. And her book has received a few awards, and also it is available in the Sheikh Rashid Library here in the UAE. This book is basically a memoir, a story told by the author, but relatable to most millennial parents, both male and female parents. It entails the metamorphosing of a girl into a mother and the myriads of challenges taking place in and around her life, compromising light-hearted anecdotal comparisons and biases around motherhood, the importance of self-care, me time, and a lot more. It is discovering your own self away from motherhood. So, this book is for anyone who has found herself off guard when embarking on a journey of motherhood, as if stepping into an unknown territory. This story will resonate with women vacillating between their careers and family. Mothers who take time to bond with the babies and like falling in love instantaneously, like those shown on screen. So, this memoir is a book of unspoken musings of a present day mother, a millennial woman who has been raising her kids just like her male counterparts in all aspects. Still, when it comes to motherhood, she gets to see the double standards of society, and she is here to break the stereotypical role of a mother in this millennium generation. So, we welcome Shabeena Zaidi here today. How are you doing, Shabeena?
Hello, Bushra. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to your literary latte. I'm so glad that I'm here. I'm doing good. How are you?
Great, I'm doing fine. So, just moving around your book, Revelations of a Millennial Mom. First question that I would want to ask you is what inspired you to write this book about the conflicts and challenges faced by an independent millennial woman in motherhood?
So, yes, Bushra, you know what inspired me to write this book, that is The Revelations of a Millennial Mom. When I embarked on a journey of motherhood, I realized that there are so many challenges that a mom faces, but whatever shown to us is the glitzier side of motherhood. Everybody is going to speak about the positive side of motherhood. Nobody is going to tell you the reality. And when I embarked on this journey, I realized that there was so much more to it. There was so much that the society is hiding from mothers. There's so much that the society tells mom. They will tell you that now your life is complete, but it isn't the same. Having kids doesn't make your life complete as a millennial mom. That's what I think. And you have more to it. You have your goals, you have your ambitions, you have your careers, right? And there's so many truths, or there are so many unspoken truths that the society shows. So the main purpose of writing this book is to show that if had if I had been if I had known about motherhood, if I had known that this the gray side of motherhood, I had been better prepared. Moms are not
Absolutely.
prepared to handle motherhood because you see social media, if you see the movies, what are they predicting? They are showing that moms are not supernatural powers and they are dealing with supernatural powers all the time. So we when we feel that we are having a hard time, we are not able to admit it because we feel that we are judged. While writing this book, I asked numerous moms to tell me about their journey. How is motherhood treating them? And nobody told me that it's tough. Everybody was like it's they're having a good time and all that because they feel that they are going to be judged. Now, when they read my book, they tell me that you have spoken about the truth, which nobody speaks about. So I wanted to speak the truth, and that is why I wrote this book.
That's wonderful. That's so, and it's very important that you put down all these things in a form for memoir because it's really helpful for women who become new mothers and they go through a lot of phases during this period, but they are unable to relate it to the things which were told to them by earlier generations, because obviously things are very different now, and women are more career oriented, they're way more educated. The way they've been brought up is very different from the way they were brought up earlier. So I think this is very important. And when I was going through your book, I could relate to so many chapters where you said that people come forward and say, "Ab to ladka hoga," because your stomach is a certain way, and it's bulging more on the right side or the left side, or and we are sure. And so, what could you just give us more insight into this? Because I found it very humorous when I was reading that chapter in your book, that this expectation from women that they are supposed to bear only male children, and that's supposed to be some kind of a trophy, and that is the only thing that is expected out of them, to bear male children to pass on the legacy. Although very contradictory to beliefs, otherwise, even religious beliefs, they say that, like, a prophet had only girls as children, and they were they carried the generation forward, and never had any sons. None of the sons survived to carry the name legacy forward. So what do you have to say about this aspect of your motherhood journey, which you have put down in your book, and you have written a chapter where you speak about it?
Yes, Bushra. So, I have actually focused about gender disparity in my book. There is a chapter which says chicken legs and fish tail. So, it doesn't deal with the food items, but it deals with how gender disparity starts right from your kitchen, right from your home, and right from your parents, when they make differences between the choices that they make between a girl and a boy. And there is another chapter which also deals with this, that every time whenever a girl is pregnant, every time the sex of the unborn child is a boy, and they assume it. And there is a chapter which says god mein beta lekar aana. So it is kind of a blessing, and we've come to, we think that this is normal, very normal. Even if you go to a baby baby shower in our Asian societies, if you go to a god bharai session, elder the elder ladies, they will whisper in your ears, and they consider that this is a blessing to bless them, that may you conceive a baby boy. But what is the disparity that we are creating? What is the difference that we are creating right within our families, right from our home? So when we say that a society, a society creates gender disparity, no, it starts right within the four walls of your home. You make differences, you give your boy the priority, you don't give the girl a priority. And this hasn't changed. Now, we are two sisters, and we've always heard that, okay, so you're only two sisters. I mean, if there are two brothers, nobody is going to say, okay, you are only two brothers and you don't have a sister. So if you have a brother, it is considered that your family is complete. Now this scenario hasn't changed, because I have two daughters, and I don't, whatever my parents never made a difference in this scenario, and that's why we thought that we are enough. But when we went out, we went out with the relatives, and we went to their places, or uh, in generally in a society, when people ask you, they would say that you're only two sisters. And now they tell my daughters that you have only two daughters, you don't have a son. So I want to ask the society, why does this double standard exist in this society? And this is through this book, I want to say that uh, um, so there was a period when I was discussing this with a friend of mine who is a psychologist. She's based in USA, and I asked her what is the impact of gender disparity primarily on girls, and she told me that, the girls who are raised up this way, that they have always been discriminated, there is a grave effect which is caused on their brains. And I was thinking that, okay, now this is the modern times, and the times must have changed. But I mean, even now, people make these differences. So I've thrown light on these chapters as well.
Absolutely. And there is another big problem when women, they have been school in good schools, and they've gone to good colleges, got a good degree, and they get married, and suddenly when they get married and have children, they lose this ambitious drive to achieve their career goals, because they are in the childbearing years. And they, because what I have seen, and also, although I was also a millennial mom only, and but I see that nowadays that women do not have children for, let's say, 8 to 10 years of their marriage, and they know once they have children, they just refuse to have, they just put it forward to their husband and the in-laws, that we will not have children because we need to build our career. From the age of 20 something to 30 something, they want to just build a career, and they just put their foot down, that we don't want to get into the cycle of motherhood, and we don't want to have children. And but whereas, like in my time, I normally saw they put their career aside and ambition aside and they would go ahead and have, first they would have children, and then those 8 to 10 years were supposed to be given completely to their children, and not, you can't go out of the house, because earlier that time I don't think there was anything like an online kind of situation where you could work online. So you could only just either work outside your house, whether you're doing your own business or you're doing a job, or you could just be at stay at mom with your children. So how did you shift your like mindset from that career oriented, well educated Muslim mom who's had certain ambitions, and after having two pregnancies, deliveries, and then how did you adapt to this change, and what message do you want to give to women who are going through the same cycle?
Yes, Bushra, it is very very difficult to make a choice between the two, either your career or your kids, because I've been in both the roles. I went out to work with my first daughter. She used to go to the nursery, and I realized that during this time when I was, and I think that it is your own personal choice. It's your personal choice to make a transition from a career oriented girl to somebody who's working at home. And I call them, they are also working mothers, because they are working at home, they are stay at home mom. And somebody who's going out to the office, she's going out for work. So yes, it is very difficult for moms to decide between the two. And nowadays I think it's very important, because we are in the digital era. So I won't call myself that, even if I'm not going stepping out for my work, but still I am working, because I am connected digitally, I work online. And I have balanced my structure. I have actually made a system so that I can work from home. And there have been times when I'm in the meetings, and my 2 year old, yeah, when she was 2 years old, now she's my younger one, is she's 4 years old now. And even now she does that. So she comes and she sits in my lap, and I'm doing my work. So I think with the this in this digital era, we have learned to balance, to make a balance between the two. And most importantly, what I have learned is that if you delegate tasks, as a present day mom, you have to be you have to be fertile enough to understand what is your urgent task, what is your important task, what is your non important task, and what which doesn't deserve that much amount of time. So I have learned to delegate tasks, and I have I start with journal. I start my day with journaling. I start with my day with to-do list, and I focus upon what is important for me to do that day, and I complete that task. So in a way, I'm balancing both motherhood and my work. But yes, if we compare to the previous times, it must have been really tough for moms to navigate this thing in their career, that they have to choose something between the two. Because whatever role you play as a mom, whether you are a stay at home mom, you will be guilty. Whether you are a mom who's going to office, you will be found guilty. And society is going to pressurize you by saying that, oh my god, you've studied so much, still you are at home, you're just doing nothing. And this notion, I have challenged this notion in my book, that the mother who has
Exactly,
left her career,
exactly.
She is a stay at home
Mhm.
mom. She is
Mhm.
providing value to the human beings that she has created. And why don't we value motherhood? We are not assigning value to motherhood because of the reason that it is non remunerated. The work that is remunerated, we assign value to it. But the work that is
Mhm.
non remunerated, but it is more important because you are raising individuals and you are contributing a fair individual to the society. That work is so important. I think
Yeah.
mothers are the lost creatures and they have to get their fair amount of respect. They deserve this.
Absolutely. You cannot be judgmental. There could be a woman who would be like working 10 years after marriage and not having children. Even in my generation, I saw that they became mothers only at the age of 30, not in their 20s. Like I was a mother when I was in my 20s, early 20s. So, and then you cannot compare the journey of one woman to another woman, and the comparison is wrong. And perhaps somebody would bear a child at the age of 32, and the child would be way much younger to your children. Your children would be reaching college. So those journeys are different, but the society has made those double standards where women are judged, and either way, as you just put it, that women are told, oh, you have studied so much, and you have so many degrees, why are you sitting at home? And all these things. And if you're working, you're made to feel guilty. So who takes care of your children when you go to work and you are out from morning till evening? Your child is on a nanny, आया पे रखा है बच्चों को. तो ये भी एक सुनना पड़ता है कि your child is on an aya and on a nanny. So either ways, the society is going to judge you and make comments about it. So this is something that needs to change. And I think women who put their foot down, and they have started to voice it, and they started to say we are not going to have children, because once the child is there, responsibility falls on the mother. So you have to be around the child. So I think nowadays it is very women are very, very authoritative in what they want, and they don't bow down to any pressures. So this is what is something which I find very commendable, that women have become very bold. And like I saw that 20 years back that it wasn't like that. It was like, just have to bow down to these pressures. So this is very important. Also in the book, you have you've given so many anecdotes about what people mask, or the cliches around motherhood. So what are some of those anecdotes that you have put in your book about things which are hidden and they should be known? Because when a woman is stepping into motherhood, it is a total shift from her previous stage of life. It is a total new role that she's taking over, and she's also a new person, not just giving a new life, but she herself has gone through that phase. So she's also a different person, not just in physically, but emotionally and mentally. The hormones change completely. So that you have put down in your book. So would you tell our audience about those anecdotes, that women are hidden so many things from so many things are hidden, and they are taboo to talk about too in society, so they are not comfortable even
Yes.
asking too many questions about it.
Yes, Bushra. Motherhood, I will always say that motherhood is like an exam. However, you prepare, but when you come to deal with it, it feels like everything was out of the syllabus. So when you embark on a motherhood journey, you find that you are completely a new human being and with a new body, obviously. When the baby is out and you have your baby, so it's completely a different scenario. And you are actually, a mother is actually transitioning between her old self, her older self, and she is actually realigning in the newer body. She is being born into that body, and that takes time. So this transformation from being a girl to a mother, it doesn't happen quickly. It takes time, and this transformation is called matrescence. So I I urge to the society that we as mothers, we are not so prepared. We don't know the challenges. There are some certain things which are hidden away from moms, and had those things been known to us, we would have been better prepared. So I've written about that the fourth trimester. We have three trimesters, and the fourth trimester is the first 3 months when the baby is out, and you are in the most vulnerable stage, and you have to take care of the baby as well. You have to feed her. You have to take care of the baby, right? And that is the stage when you are in the most vulnerable stage in your life. That that period is the toughest. Nobody is going to tell you that. Once the baby is born, the entire focus shifts towards the baby and not the mother. In motherhood, if the baby is of paramount importance, even the mother is of paramount importance. When people go to visit a newborn baby, a mother in the hospital, they will just go towards the baby, and they won't ask the mother, "How are you?" They will just ask all the information about the baby. They are not going to ask the mom. There is an identity loss that a mother, she loses her identity. Nobody tells you that you are you're actually going to lose your identity. Nobody is going to ask your details. So with this book, I want to inform the society that have an empathy, make an emotional connect with the mother as well, because she is transitioning, she is actually metamorphosing, and she is not aware of what's going on in her life. There is a sudden transition. Obviously it takes time, but when the baby is born, there is a sudden transition. She is into a newer life. She has lost her identity. All the focus goes to the baby. She needs love, she needs attention, she needs care, but the baby belongs to her. But yes, she loses an identity, and she has to deal with it. And she feels that, okay, people will tell you that you have a baby now, your life is complete. You have a baby now, everything is complete. And there's so many things that people tell you. If you have a husband who's taking part in helping with the baby, people are going to tell you, oh my god, your husband is so helpful. And I urge that the husband is not being helpful, he is being a fair husband, because it is his duty also to take care of the child. So I'll tell you that when my elder one was born, I was told that when my husband was taking the baby in his hands, I was told that it's not the husband's duty to take care of the kid. And I was aghast. Why? I mean, I didn't understand why it is being said so. But I felt that is equally important, that if the mother is in such a state when she has just returned from, she needs the husband to take care of the baby. And if the husband is taking care of the baby, he's being a fair husband, he's not being a helpful husband. That is his duty. The baby belongs to him equally. So yes,
Yes,
with
I
this book,
think there's one very important aspect that needs to be addressed, that when a man or father is handling his child, cradling the child in his hand, or changing the diaper when the baby is small and the wife is taking a shower, or making the bottle for the child, then it is not an unmanly gesture, because he is by default the father, so he's one of the parent to the child. So if he is babysitting the child, if the mother is taking a break for 2 hours and she is gone outside for her me time, or her own self, I think it is very important, because you need the cooperation of both the partners. You cannot bring a child, otherwise I think God would have just made single moms. The concept of a husband and a wife coming together and forming a baby is only because it needs two parents to raise the child. So even a woman cannot be a superwoman, and you cannot expect her to be cradling the child in one hand and losing her sleep the whole night, and again the next day being charged and being so fresh. She really needs when she needs to get fresh and she needs to sleep a certain amount of time, if she's not slept in the night, somebody needs to be taking care of that. And if a man is helping, that stereotypical thinking, that patriarchal thinking really needs to change, that why are you cradling the baby or you're babysitting your child? It's very, it's not your job. Basically, that's what the way society perceives it. It is not your job, it is just the mother's job. It definitely is very unfair to say that it is just the mother's job. So it takes two to tango. I think you cannot just put the entire responsibility on a
Yes.
new mother. And you've written a lot about mental health, you've written about postpartum depression. I think, what do you want to say about these issues that women face, although you were, alhamdulillah, lucky that you didn't go through postpartum depression, as we spoke about it. But you've mentioned in the book that women should know that their mental health does suffer. And what do you want to throw light on this aspect of your book about the mental health part of women, you know?
Yes, Bushra, something which I've written in my book that is about postpartum depression and baby blues. But I went through baby blues, and lot of moms they undergo postpartum depression. Earlier, this term was not known, but yes, mothers went through it. And nowadays, even they have after the baby is born, they have a lot many issues to deal with, and postpartum depression can go on for years. The moms are into depression, and they don't know what to do, because there is an upsurge of so many hormones, and you have a lot to handle at that moment in time. So as mothers, you deal with that something I've spoken in the book is ambivalence, that you are happy and you are sad at the same time. So there's so many emotions you are dealing with as a mom. So when you embark on this journey, and when a mom embarks on this journey, she knows that now these days we have so many studies about postpartum depression, about ambivalence, about the feelings. So nowadays, when a mom undergoes these depressions kind of symptoms, she has help, she has life coaches, she has doctors to assist her. And it becomes the responsibility of the family to take care of the mom as well, because she also needs care, just like a baby, because this is something very new in her life. Like, we have so many studies about adolescence. So a few days back, I was at the Global Art and Literature Festival, where I met you also, Bushra. So I was delivering a speech about adolescence and matrescence. And I said that we have so many research regarding adolescence. When a teen is on his journey to become an adult, that phase is called adolescence, and we have so many research about it. We always giving some kind of an advice to the adult, to the person who's turning from teen to adult, and in this phase of adolescence, we give so many advices to that person. And we already have so much of research regarding adolescence, the hormonal shift, the transition, the mental health, and all that. Not many people must have heard about this term called matrescence, which just now I spoke. I spoke that word, matrescence, and that is the transition of a mother in terms of her mental health, in terms of her emotions, the transition of a girl to a mother, and that is matrescence. And we still don't have much research about motherhood. So with this book, I think this is my it is just a feeble notion to raise a concern in the society, to change their set of perspective, to change their narrative, focus on the mothers. Because if we focus on the mothers, we have a happy mama, and a happy mama creates a happy child. She takes care of the child who is happy. So we really need to take care of mothers. We really need to take care of the mental health of the moms, and it becomes imperative on the society, on the husbands, to take care of new mothers, rather than telling them all the time, rather than comparing them all the time. Because in our societies, in our Asian societies, we compare mothers. There's so many comparisons that we have to deal with. We are compared with the next door neighbor mom, we are compared with the celebrity mom, we are compared with traditional moms, we are compared with other moms, so many moms. So we are always under this comparisons. And uh, I feel that we shouldn't be, and that puts a lot of pressure on moms, actually. Because how can one mom be compared to the other mom on the same denominator? They cannot be compared to the same denominator. Why? Because they have different set of challenges, they have different. I mean, if you compare that, okay, that person lost her weight, that actress lost her weight within 3 months after pregnancy, why can't you lose your weight? How can you compare the journeys of two moms. They have an arsenal of help. The celebrity moms may have an arsenal of help with her. She has all the people, every she has she like uh, you know she can go to any person, right? She can get all kind of help. But a mom who's a stay at home mom, or she's taking care of the kids, she's handling the household chores, she is doing everything. How can you compare the two journeys? So yes, I was telling about mattresses. So you know when I was delivering this speech about the difference between adolescents and mattresses, that not many much research has been done in this regard. When I got down, there was a lady in the audience. She held my hand and she said that I am involved with the research related to women, and you thank you for bringing my attention to this fact, that not much research has been done about mattresses, and I'm going to tell my team to find out the data related to this, and thank you for this notion. So I was glad that my attempt of writing this book has made an impact. So yeah.
Absolutely. And there are so many myths that you bust in this particular book. And there are some myths that women are supposed to, despite their nausea, and they're supposed to have ghee, laddus, and have very rich diet. And you have also researched Rijuta Devikar's book on this, and that what a pregnant mother should eat as a healthy diet. And if obviously all this hormone change brings about a lot of nausea and vomiting, so to combat that, how she should maintain it, rather than what society perceives it, as the child will be healthy, so you need to stuff yourself with unnecessary things. And at the end of the day, you just put on the fat on your body, and the woman doesn't gain anything other than the fat on the body, basically. So you have mentioned about these kind of myths in your book. So could you tell our audience more about these kind of facts that you busted, that that are very prevalent in the society?
Yes. So that part is Panjiri. The name of the chapter is Panjiri and Laddus. So most of my chapters in this book, they start with a food item. You can see, as I said, Panjiri and Laddus. The another chapter is waffles and maple syrup. Another chapter is Dunkin' Donuts. So most of the chapters in my book are starting with a food item, and not specifically I have spoken about that food item, but it is involved in the conversation, or it is involved at certain phase in my life, and that is why I've named those chapters likewise. So Panjiri and Laddus is a chapter which deals with it actually deals with the 40-day cycle that a mom has to go through, and there I have discussed that uh, this in this 40-day period. First of all, when I gave birth to my first child, I didn't know that this kind of a 40-day period exists, because um, I'd never taken a child in my hand, and she was the first baby. She was the first newborn whom I held in my hands. So I didn't know. When I came home, I was fine and I was roaming about, and my mom told me that you have to stay at a certain place, and that is the 40-day period for you. You have to stay in a particular room. And I feel that that must have this concept must have arisen because moms needed rest, and it's okay, it's fine. But sometimes this goes to an extreme limits. So there was a lady who was telling me that when she was confined within this 40-day period, she was actually suffering and nobody would visit her. So I think sometimes we really take it to an extreme level. And some people, they don't believe in 40-day period. So I have another story of a girl. When she returned from hospital and it was her third day, the baby was 3 days old, and she was asked to prepare food for the entire family. I mean, how can you expect, if somebody has a broken arm, if somebody has a broken leg, he will rest for an entire month? But the person, the girl who has just delivered a baby, she has to work and just like a normal person, as if nothing had happened. So these are certain things which I have focused in my book. Yes, about Rajita Devekar, I follow her as a dietitian, and I've read many books about her. So she lays an emphasis on following um, a routine, a diet routine that is very much in semblance with what our mothers or what our grandmoms followed. So there was a time when my first child was born, and I didn't want to eat the ghee laden laddus and all, and I was feeling that my nanny and my mom, they are just stuffing me with all those sugary items and ghee and everything, and I was reluctant to eat. But when I read Rujuta Devekar, she suggested in her book that it is actually good for the baby. And why don't we eat, why are we so averse to eating all those ghee laden items and all that? Because of the fact that we want to lose weight as soon as we deliver a baby, because we are in this because we have, actually, as a society, we have put mothers on a pedestal. Because if you see social media, they will show you all those glam moms who are perfect in their bodies, and we tend to compare ourselves with those moms, and that is why we are always on the pedestal. We are always running. We think that we are doing wrong, but everything takes time. If it has taken 9 months for you to deliver a baby, it will take time to come to the same body structure. So yes, I want to give this message through my book and the chapters.
So, also in your book, do you explore the role of fathers or partners, like spouses, in modern day motherhood in your book? What should their role be, as opposed to what the society, expects?
Yes,
So, do you address that? Yeah.
I think um, when I speak about my family, so people usually say that the fathers are the strict people and the strict generation, and moms are very calm and composed. I think in our relationship, it is the other way around. I am the stricter parent and little strict, yeah, but he's not at all strict. He has taken this. As parents, as parents of a newborn child, we actually evolve, as evolve in our roles. So I have taken to uh, make them do their homeworks, and what they are doing, what are they going to do in their co-curricular activities, more focused on that. And he has taken to the calm parenting side. So as you know, as parents, it is equally our responsibility is to take care of the kids, and doesn't it is actually an amalgamation of both the mother and the father. So yes, as I said that it's not only a woman's responsibility to take care of the kids, as I said earlier, because it is the father's responsibility as well. And people will always say that, wow, you have a helping husband. If he is feeding the child, if he's helping, if he's taking care of the kid, changing the diapers, people will always say, oh my God, you have a helping husband. That, and they will say that you don't have to do anything. He's working, he's going out, he's taking care of the kids, he's feeding the kids and everything, and the mother is not doing anything, she's just resting. So I've heard these things as well. So I'm sure so many mothers must have heard these things.
That's wonderful. So, so what do you hope to achieve with this book in terms of raising awareness and promoting change in society's perception of motherhood?
With this book, my message is to connect with other moms and to let them know that yes, to, these things exist. Everybody feels the same. To validate this notion that yes, motherhood is incredibly hard. And people would always say that this is something which I've often heard, that people would say that, so what? You are not a first mom. Everybody goes through this. But I want them to understand that yes, every mother goes through this, but this is happening with that mother for the very first time. And I'll repeat it. This is happening with that mother for the very first time. So with this book, as this book is a memoir and I have written the transition of a girl into the role of a mother, how she is career oriented and she is head over heels for her career. The moment she becomes a mom, her priorities change. And I feel that, I don't feel, but I've got reviews from other moms who have read my book that this has resonated with them, so much so.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
when I was embarking, when I was expecting, and I met my friend, and she told me that, you know what, my sister also conceived a baby and she had to leave her career. And I was like, so why does she have to leave her career? And there was a point in time when I had to, I mean, it was my own choice, that I could not leave my newborn. When I held her in my arms, I didn't have this feeling that I can leave her to help her and I can go out without any support. Because over here in UA, we, most of the mothers, they are expats, and they are living away from their families. Their families are in geographically another location of another part of the world, and they are living in nuclear families, and they have to uh, have a support system, right? But at that point in time, when she was a newborn, my elder one, she was a few months old, and I didn't feel like leaving her to somebody, in the attention of somebody else. And then I realized that yes, there are so many truths that are hidden away. I didn't know that that is going to happen. I didn't know that something is going to be of more priority to me than my own self. So
It's
yes.
wonderful. It was wonderful talking to you, getting to know. And when this session of 40 minutes went to 45 minutes, I really did. No, but there were deep rooted insights about the millennial mom and the expectations of motherhood, and obviously debunking so many myths and the societal expectations around motherhood, how to balance your motherhood and your career in this digital age and space. All this is changing, the landscape is totally changing, and there's a paradigm shift as opposed to what it used to be in the earlier times. I think in this current age, we are blessed with so many different technologies, and mothers have different avenues to where they can still sit at home and work and engage themselves. So when I also remember when I had my second child, and blogger was there, so I started my blog writing that time after that, because obviously that time I couldn't leave her and go out. For those few years I went into writing poetry and doing art. So that is the time you can explore other avenues too. And sometimes from feeling all the time feeling like a victim, you can also discover other aspects of your personality. And definitely there needs to be a change, that people should not be judgmental about women, and there needs to be open discussions about motherhood, and there needs to be a holistic support for a woman in terms of her mental health, her emotional health, and not just only her physical health, because apart from just giving birth to a child, the woman also undergoes so many changes in her own body. So that is a very important aspect that you have covered in your book, and I'm sure this memoir resonated with every woman in one way or the other, because there were so many parts when I was reading, going through it. I could also relate to a lot of what you had written. So, mashallah, you are blessed with the gift of writing, and Literary Latte wishes you all the best for your further literary ventures, if whatever you're going to write, your other books. And thank you so much, Shabina, for joining us today and giving us your insights on this book today. Any message you want to give to the readers,
Yeah,
the
thank you,
viewers
Bushra, for
today? And
inviting me. Yeah, absolutely. And to my viewers, I want to give this notion that please take care of yourself, because we think, as mothers, we think that self care is luxury. No, it is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Even if you're parenting smaller kids, have some time for yourself, even if it is a 5 minutes a day, because uh, you are in this motherhood journey, you are also important, and not only your kids. So, clear your path, prioritize your goals, don't get lost into the journey of motherhood, because there will be a time when you would want to fly. There will be a time when you would want to achieve your dreams. So work successively towards your dreams, even if it is only for 5 minutes a day, even if it is just for 5 minutes a day. So work towards your dream, prioritize yourself, and do time management, because lot of stress in our lives comes from when we are not able to manage our time properly. Everything boils down to time management. So plan your day. And I've spoken about social media as well. So find out, structure your day, and find out how much time you're spending on social media. Is it worthwhile? Is it helping you? Or are you just being a consumer, or you are being a creator? Is it those times when we say that we don't have time, but those nuggets of time that goes away uh, during our motherhood journey, that we've done a certain task and then we'll come and scroll over the phone. Use that time, read a book, do something for yourself, learn a skill, and don't get lost. Streamline your career. So that is my message to all the moms out there. Thank you,
So
Bushra.
on
Thank you
that
for inviting me.
note, Shabina, thank you so much for giving us that insight, those wonderful tips for all mothers who are in that stage, and women in general too, that who would be becoming mothers at one point of time. So they need to understand what the journey is all about. And thank you so much. And just good night from our side today.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
The
Bushra.
end.
Bye
You're
bye.